You take one brave pull from a blue gas station slushie. For half a second, life is perfect. Then a tiny ice pick appears behind your forehead, and your face folds in half like you have been betrayed by a beverage. The weird part is the speed. You did not even swallow all of it yet. The cold touched your mouth, and somehow your head filed an emergency complaint. That is the first trick of brain freeze. The name sends you looking in the wrong place. Your brain is not freezing. The official headache classification describes this as a short-lasting frontal or temporal pain triggered when cold material passes over the palate, the roof of the mouth, or the back wall of the throat. So the crime scene is not the brain. It is this little wet ceiling inside your mouth. When something very cold lands there, especially a liquid that spreads quickly, it can chill that tissue fast. That may be why ice water is such a good villain in studies. In one experiment, ice water triggered cold stimulus headaches far more often than pressing an ice cube to the palate, and the median delay was about 15 seconds, not over a minute. A cold drink is basically a blue flood. It does not politely knock on one spot. It splashes across a sensitive doorway. Not everyone has the same doorway. Surveys and lab studies find wildly different rates depending on age, migraine history, and the exact cold test. One large adolescent survey found about 4 in 10 students reported ice cream headache. A lab study with cold on the palate found a little over 1 in 3 volunteers reacted. So brain freeze is common, but it is not universal. Some people have a hair trigger alarm. Others can bulldoze a snow cone like nothing happened. Now the question gets stranger. If the cold is in your mouth, why does the pain show up in your forehead? Your head is wired less like a neat house and more like an old switchboard. Sensory information from the face, mouth, nose, teeth, and parts of the head travels through cranial nerve pathways, especially the trigeminal system. That system is excellent at warning you fast. It is not always excellent at labeling the exact address. So when cold hammers the palate and throat, the signal can be interpreted as pain in a neighboring region of the head. This is called referred pain. The alarm starts in one place, but the red light blinks somewhere else. That is why brain freeze feels so dramatic. Your forehead is not being stabbed. Your nervous system is pointing to the forehead while the cold is poking the mouth. But nerves may not be the whole story. There is also a blood vessel reflex hiding in the scene. One common theory is that sudden cold makes blood vessels in the mouth and nearby region constrict. Then, as the body reacts and warms the area, vessels rapidly widen again. That quick change may tug on pain-sensitive systems around the head. Researchers have tried to catch this in real time. A small 2012 study had 13 adults sip ice water against the roof of the mouth, while blood flow was monitored through the skull. Reports from that work described changes in cerebral blood flow, including widening of the anterior cerebral artery during the headache. A later study measured flow velocity in the middle cerebral arteries during ice water ingestion and found that the velocity rose. People who actually got the headache showed different vascular resistance than people who did not. That does not prove one simple cartoon answer. Science has not fully nailed down whether the pain is mostly the nerve alarm, the vessel change, or the two grabbing each other by the collar. But it does give us a better picture. Brain freeze is not a random curse from ice cream. It is a fast cold sensor, a shared head and face warning network, and a blood flow reflex all happening in a tiny space above your tongue. And then, almost rudely, it disappears. That is because the trigger is brief. The cold patch warms, the vessels settle. The signal loses its reason to scream. A headache that felt huge can vanish before anyone at the table has finished laughing at you. So the next time a milkshake makes you clutch your skull, remember what actually happened. Your body did not discover a frozen brain. It found a sudden cold threat in your mouth and chose speed over accuracy. That little stab is a false location alarm from a protective system that would rather be wrong for 10 seconds than slow for 1. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel a great deal. See you next time.